Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, July 2nd, approximately 3:30 p.m. I'd like to call a meeting of Board of Water Commissioners to order. It should be noted that Bob Earl Anderson is via Zoom because he is still testing positive for the COVID variant. So first order of business would be to approve the minutes of May 28th and June 11th. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes of May 28th and June 11th.
Do I have a second?
Is he on? Bob?
Get one, Bob?
Thank you for that. Is it volume
Oh, you might be, Hey, Bob, can you unmute? Bob, you've got no sound. Okay, there we go. Oh,
Need a second for approval of the minutes, Bob.
Bob, we can't hear you.
I'm unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah, don't mute
Yeah.
yourself.
All right.
Don't mute yourself.
Second.
Moved, second, and so voted to approve the minutes of May 28th and June 11th, 2004. First appointment of the night is for Evan Weil regarding property on Baker Avenue. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks for meeting with me today, I appreciate it. I know there's a moratorium on the water in Kingston, but with your approval, I'd like to proceed and do all the installation and have it done by the time the moratorium is lifted, at my peril.
That is not our decision. That would be the building department's decision. As far as I'm concerned, anything that you do on that property without services or being able to provide service to you is totally at your risk. We will not guarantee that you'll have service when you need it. We're not taking any applications at this point since we are not in a position of being able to say exactly when. We'll have a new well online that is capable of producing portable water for the town of Kingston. And that's town of Kingston as a whole, not any particular developer or
Right.
particular area or town.
When do you think that might be online?
We have not even begun the process of getting approval from DEP other than the initial ones that we got. We have not done any design work, nor have we begun the beginning process of advertising. So I'm guessing probably 3 to 5 years.
We just got control of the property last month, so we could not do a thing until we get control of the property. It's important to us. We're working as hard as we can and as fast as we can, but these things take a lot of time. That's essentially what he's telling you. 3 to 5 years is a fair estimate.
Okay. So you're telling me to go to the building department, which they'll tell me to go to the planning board, which is fine. But building department first step.
Well, planning board, whatever. What I'm telling you is the water department at this time will not guarantee you service if you build under your own
Go.
power.
Right.
I can't guarantee that.
I understand that.
Okay.
So you don't have an issue if I go in and do the utilities, because I'm improving the system on Baker Ave.
We, until such time as we have a well online so that our engineers can look at, what's proposed for utilities, we are not going to approve anything. Any utility that's installed has to be installed according to our rules and regulations and must be looped so that in fact it's not a dead end.
We have that. This was all approved 7 years ago,
7 years ago is a lifetime ago.
not grandfather.
No, you're not. We would look at plans today. We would look at plans as it relates to building codes and plumbing codes and municipal codes under today's flights. Had you done it last month, that would have been one thing. But 7 years ago, as far as I'm concerned, it's a lifetime ago.
Look at the permits act.
Maybe after, there is no water down Baker Road Baker Avenue that we can guarantee service to.
So, not grandfather. If I do anything, it'd be at my own peril. You know, the owners had this, I'm taking it over, the owners had this property for 38 years.
And like Bud said, anything that's done has to meet our rules and regulations.
Note the change in 7 years. So, but that's beside the point. Really makes no difference. You know, we cannot commit to anything until such time as we know that we have a well online that is serviceable and can provide potable water to whoever is the applicant. Whether it's you at the present time or somebody down the line.
So if the building, if I go to the building department and tell them that I've met with you guys, and they call you, and I say that I'm willing to do this under my own peril, are you saying I'm good to go, or?
As long as what you do meets same rules and regulations, yes.
Today,
On your peril, yes. I don't have a problem with it.
you know, don't start installing water mains assuming that we're gonna approve it, because we're not, until such time as we can provide potable water to the main once you've installed it. Because we don't know who the owner's gonna be in 5 years.
Are you the property owner or the developer? Proposed
I'm
developer,
gonna be the owner.
but you're not the property owner at the current time.
Not this minute, I will be. Once I get all the approval, and I'm an excavator, I'm a builder, I've been doing it long as it's been around. And,
Well, unfortunately, you haven't been doing it longer than I have. Don't worry about it.
how old are you?
Don't worry about it. My job is to be a water commissioner for the town of Kingston, not to discuss my.
Okay, no problem. But, no, I'm not retired, but I wanna stay with it. So I have my own equipment. So-
I am retired and I want to stay busy, so
Exactly.
I get it.
I retired and I said, what am I doing now? Nothing. So I just come back in.
Well, good luck with it. And we're going as fast as we can, but this takes a lot of time between permitting and actual construction. It's
One thing,
we've done this multiple times in the last 20 years, and it's time consuming.
one thing we won't do is shortcut the system just to get a well online. We need to basically develop a well that will produce water for the town of Kingston for as long as possible.
You need any assistance in drilling a well? At my own expense?
No,
Just throwing it out there.
that makes, you know, when we have plans developed, and they're approved by DEP, we will put out those plans for bidding. That will require the contractor to be of significant expertise to install a well, as well as the pumping, the entire system, and then bring it up to treatment facility so it then can be processed before it's put into the. Being an excavator doesn't make you qualified necessarily, it doesn't eliminate you, but doesn't make you qualified to build a municipal well and pump system.
Very good, gentlemen. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Hopefully we'll progress in a positive way.
Hopefully, we're all here with you when we go on.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good safe 4th of July.
Yeah.
Attorney Joseph Ferrero, of Ferrero Associates from Quality Law.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Thank you for serving and thank you for having me here today. Mr. Superintendent, nice to meet you. Joe Ferrer is my name.
I'm Bud Warren.
Bob Costa.
Bob.
And that's Bob Erlandson.
Hi, Bob. Can you hear me okay, Bob?
Yep.
Great, perfect. So I am affiliated with the Napoli Law Firm. I'm going to give you a handout that they just sent out this afternoon. This is a slide presentation about PFAS. So we are a nationwide we serve water departments nationwide, trying to get people, municipalities reimbursed for contaminants caused by about 17 different companies. The thing we're here to talk about today, and I just sent to Ms. Smith the slide presentation electronically, and it's color, it's a little prettier than what you have. I'm gonna sign right back on. As we speak, there's a conference going on with hundreds of water departments throughout the country. It will be done by 4 o'clock. And one of the partners in the firm will be calling my cell phone in about 15 minutes, hopefully, in case you have any extra questions for him. But he did send me this slide presentation about an hour ago. I printed it out to you. And I can go over it with you.
Now, I'm looking at the front page. If you have any PFAS in any of your water systems, you need to file by that date to be precluded forever. What if we don't?
So if you don't file by next
No,
Friday.
what if we don't have PFAS?
Okay, so you have had it. I have the results that were provided from DEP. I sent them over to the board within the last couple of weeks.
They're in
So
those packets, but those don't match up with what we have.
Just curious where you get your information from, because my test results differ that I reported to the DEP.
So
Those were,
this is what we got from the DEP. Well, we can reconcile it and figure out what the right numbers are. So in a nutshell, if you tested for PFAS, which you guys did, before June of 23, you're what you call phase 1. So 4 companies out of the 17 have settled. So there's roughly about $15 billion in a pot put in by 3M, and the other companies are all listed here. The latest one is 3M to settle, and they settled for $12.5 billion. And that's the one who actually right now.
Winthrop Street. Yep.
Right, so the way it's calculated is they go back from 2013 through 2022. So we need to know the flow rates for those 10 years and the maximum flow rate for those 10 years. Based on those numbers, there's a calculus that's in the package there. They multiply it times the amount of PFAS in each of your wells, and you get compensated based on that.
The Winthrop 3 well has not been online since.
over 20 years,
Yeah.
20 years, okay.
20 plus
Yeah,
years,
more than
25
So
years.
everything you're showing on that the Winthrop 3 well is off the board.
Okay, so there's also detections at Souls Pond, South Street, Millgate Road. Souls Pond again, Millgate Road.
Again, I'd just like to know where you get your information from. I mean, I'm looking at my reports that I have from DEP that are no detects on all those sites. I just don't know.
So
where you
this
get
is-
your information from.
It's generated from the DEP, and I can, again, when Hank comes on board, we can ask them directly. But I have a printout of every single city and town. We represent hundreds and hundreds throughout the country, a bunch of them in Massachusetts, and you guys are on the list as a testing positive, and that's why I'm here.
But attorney for, I gave you that packet.
This is me right here. He's connected with us. So Hank's a partner of the class action law firm. And he'll be able to maybe answer some questions that.
But it still comes down to a dispute between whether we tested positive for PFAS.
I'm looking at Souls Pond test results right here for 2021 as opposed to the spreadsheet that you provided. You've given, I don't know what these numbers are that they generated. The lab report, DEP is no detects on our test results. So,
What do we call these, right?
I mean, if in fact we and DEP has agreed that there was no detect in any of the wells that you're now talking about, what are we really talking about?
Is it okay if I get Hank on the phone?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Hank, I had a problem FaceTiming me, but I'm with the board right now, in public session. And I have the superintendent here, with the 3 board members. One of them is on Zoom. So, the questions come up, they say that the numbers that we provided through DEP are different than what the superintendent had for numbers for PFAS. Can you talk about that or address why that might be?
Different in what direction?
Each of our reports with DEP indicate no non-detect on any of the wells that you're talking about that were in service between 2013 and 2021. The Winthrop 3 well, which is the one that shows up most frequently, has not had potable water transmitted out of that well in over 20 years.
Yeah, I'm not getting most of what you're saying, but I believe you said that you weren't having any detects during that period of time.
That's correct.
We'll introduce Hank. Hank is a,
Have you had detects since then?
No.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't want to get involved, if you have no detail, I don't think there's any loss for you to get involved for us to try to gather the documents and use the DEP data. If at the end of the day, if you have no detections, then you get no money. But really, the effort it's going to take, and I don't know what kind of effort it will take, but you can to gather those documents. But we could still try to find a reason why DEP and your figures are so diverse. And then if you do qualify, because you need some level of detects to qualify for any form of settlement. If you don't have detects, then at the end of the day, you don't get any money.
But our records show no detect. That's the issue here.
Chris,
So that,
Chris,
yes,
does the DEP get measurement data from anywhere else besides us? How else would they have different numbers in there?
I think is what they're looking at, is they're looking at the minimal detect limit. That's what they're looking at, that's the minimal detect limit.
yeah.
So
Okay,
MDL is the minimum detect limit on this test method.
Yeah.
So they're using lab method EPA 537.
Yeah.
So MDL is a
Okay.
minimum detect limit
Right.
using that method.
Right.
That's the minimum they can find at nanograms per liter.
So these are saying that this was tested on 11/2/21 with detects.
11/2/21
Yep.
was the date.
Souls
selected.
Pond, yeah.
Souls Pond well.
Yeah.
All no detects.
Yeah.
You're looking at it's an unqualified result. Your MCL is 20. They since reduced the MCL down to 10. And there's a total of any detects here. So you're looking at minimal detect limit and the minimal reporting limit.
So, wait, I think I got it. So it says, the 2 is the minimal.
You're reading the report wrong. You need to read the results. You're not
Right.
looking at.
So these, I believe, these are the results. 0.68,
numbers.
0.75.
No, that is the minimum detect limit.
Okay.
The minimum detect limit is what this test method right here, that's the minimum milligrams per billion, or parts per billion, that test method 537 can detect. So in parts per billion,
Yeah.
using that test method, so anything lower than that, if it was 0.50, this test will not find.
Right.
And this is the result, as it clearly states right there, result, there's no detects all the way down.
Right. Go ahead, Hank.
Are you looking at column H?
So I am looking at, I don't have the column because I just copy and pasted this, but the one that's, the column right after 11/2/21, what says 0.68 for Souls Pond, I gave him that, I copy and pasted out of that list of cities and towns with their levels of, what were, positive detects.
You look at the result.
But he's showing
And
me,
this, you
Are you
add up
looking at
and those
the
all
result?
these,
Yeah.
and that gives you your total column right there. You look at Winthrop Street, for example, because that's the only one that has a
Hank,
detect.
I'm gonna try to FaceTime you because I can show you what they have, okay?
you take a look at Winthrop Street, for example. The results are right there, and then you add up all those different substances, and that gives you your total qualifying. 20 at the time in 2021, the MCL was 20 parts per billion. This is lowered to 10 parts per billion.
You there? You still there? Hank?
So you see how you get
I
those
am, but I'm
results?
still not
What
picking
you're
up half
looking
of what
at.
you're saying.
Yeah, they're saying that the results show that, they don't have any positive.
You guys looking at the wrong column.
So we're looking at the wrong column, we're looking at, and on the,
Well, I gotta be honest with you, that's the first time anybody's told me that, and I've talked to a lot of communities using this chart. But if you feel you have no detects, then
There's no detects. If there were detects, I'd have to resample and
clearly I'm not
spit
gonna
the
talk
test
to
samples to the DEP. Anytime you get detection, you have to resample, and your frequency intensifies with DEP. Otherwise, you like, right now I'm on, I do twice a year for detects, because I'm no detects. That's a minimum sampling schedule. Whereas if you had detects, your frequency is more up, something like Winthrop Street, because that was detects, they wanted that sample monthly, but that well's not online.
right, hasn't been online in 20 years.
It's always online.
Yeah.
why is the well not online?
It was taken offline because of a gas leak at a gas station that was upstream from our well site. So we closed the well site and settled with Exxon.
Okay,
The chances of that opening are next to zero. In a major catastrophe, maybe, but it's next to zero.
It is there. It also has an extremely high sodium, sodium content because the streams coming off the highway, both Route 3, 53, and 3A, all basically run down right past the wellhead. So in trying to keep the water as pure as we could, we determined at the time the most sense was to take it offline and leave it offline, even though technically it's still a well site within the town of Kingston. We did look at PFAS, and there are a couple of other law firms that were looking for us to sign a class action lawsuit. And one of the things that we talked about with our engineers, and Chris did some research on, we don't know exactly what the cost would be to obtain all the information that may or may not be necessary, 3M being one of them. And since we had a no detect level to begin with, we could not see spending our ratepayers' money to further determine whether or not we were still in non-detect, since we're testing and that's what it's showing anyways.
okay. The reason I was asking about the closed well was, Joel, there are set-asides within this settlement for extraordinary costs if the closure was due to PFAS detection, which is not.
It was not.
We didn't even know if there was PFAS in it at the time. It was the MTBEs.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
Yeah. And actually, it was two different gas stations that each had leaks of their own.
Sure.
I just wanted to give you, I'm sorry, I jumped right into it, Hank, we're hot on the topic, but just wanted to tell you, Hank's a retired, well, he's a lieutenant colonel from the armed forces, retired state rep, and a retired Massachusetts district court judge. And that's he's a good guy.
Nice to be retired.
Well, he's not retired, you see what he's doing now. But,
Some people say attorneys never retire.
yeah, I'm not. Yeah. So Hank, does it make any sense for us to look at it further, or what do you think?
I mean, I don't know if they're, again, in all due respect, this is the chart I've used with many other communities in Massachusetts. No one's ever questioned it that way. So, maybe they're all wrong and you're right. If your own tests are saying you're not detect, if we don't want to tell you, you gotta go do further more intense testing to get involved in this, but you need some level of detection, even if they're minimal.
Our tests say no detect.
But, let me finish. If you're qualified, you're in the door then, meaning
So we don't qualify.
you're not just eligible for the 3M and DuPont settlements, which is what we're talking about right now, but for the two pending, the BASF and the Tyco settlements, as well as about 13 others that we're currently negotiating. But that being said, we would like to represent you in those going forward. It's the Horizon as your counsel, and although you may not qualify in this upfront one here, it'll allow us to keep you informed about other settlements that are going to be coming up in the next year or two, as well as other that, as you continue to test, and the science of testing becomes ever more accurate, which is what we're being predicted, you may have defects. And so there may be future settlements that we could get you qualified for.
And you have a landfill?
A what?
Landfill?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're rolling out next, a landfill.
Actually, the cap landfill is upstream of the 123 well, and that's one of the reasons, general area where
Right.
it was basically shut off. It's also a dead whale up there too.
Right.
So you want a little bit real history.
So we're also gonna be representing the communities that have landfills with PFAS, separate from this.
That's under discussion for settlement right now.
Well, I'm quite sure if the town of Kingston wants to sign on and you're offering your services free of charge, we'll listen to you. But if you're looking for a dollar amount for us to set aside for legal fees associated with potential future PFAS settlements.
Zero.
My recommendation to the board was, at this time, we do not have the capabilities of funding such a request.
So we can't justify.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but this is an entirely contingent, the agreement is, there's absolutely no cost to your community, and it's, we assume all the costs. If we get you no money, then there's no cost to you.
What about the testing costs associated, because PFAS testing?
How much is the testing for PFAS? Is that included in the settlement, Hank? How does that work?
You're doing that anyways, per order of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
What's the intensity and frequency change to if you get onto litigation? You get to do more research, and those tests are thousands of dollars per test.
Well, I don't know how else to say it. If you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it. We're not mandating that if you hire us, we're not telling you you have to do more testing than you're already doing.
That's what the settlement says.
Yeah, I think they're asking if the settlement requires them to do more testing if they sign on, extra testing.
No, because they won't qualify for this part of the settlement. If they have no defects, they're not going to get into it. They're not going to be qualified for any money that they do on or 3M. What they do to protect themselves is for future settlements, if through the testing they're already doing per mandated the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, they do have defects in the future, we may, and again, we may be able to get them qualified for some reimbursement at that time, depending on what the conditions of those future settlements are.
Right. There's about 12 other companies out there that are in the wings. Is that correct?
13, actually.
13. Okay. Gentlemen, have any other questions for Mr. Norton?
I do not at this point.
I don't know.
Bob, any other questions?
No, we've been through this rodeo before.
Yes, we have.
All right. If you would like, I can leave you a sample retainer agreement, and you can think about it or not think about it. But it spells right out that the client will not be liable to pay the law firm any legal fees unless there's a recovery fee.
You can leave it, yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with the record.
All right, Hank, we'll chat later. I appreciate you, chiming in. All right, thank
Well,
you.
no, thank you, Joe, and thank you, members of the board, for listening to us. And, I wish you well and, happy Fourth of July to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Hank.
Nice talking with you.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming and
Appreciate it.
showing the interest. Anything.
Yeah, I know, you never know, you know, I was a cop in Somerset for 30 years, I was a police chief, and I brought it to Bob Lima, you know Bob Lima? He was on, the superintendent for like 40 years, he's on the water board. They just signed up 2 weeks ago, they didn't know about this, so, you never know. Sure. So just making a pitch and letting people know it's available. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm happy you're doing it for the municipalities that have it. Because
Yeah,
I don't know how you recover without some help.
yeah, it's a ton of money out there, and it's just, there's no strings attached. Right now.
Is Christian on?
Thank you, thanks so much. All right, thank you. Thank you very much for your help.
All right, just no problem.
Are you on?
I am. Yep, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hold
you
on.
can. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay.
Kristen, I gotta leave in about 5 minutes, so can you give me?
Yeah, we
What
can,
I
I don't
need
have
to
too
know.
much, that's why I'm not there in person. So, for the water main project, the guys have been out doing some test pits, so we're still waiting for a DEP approval to work starting at 7 in the morning. Keith sent in an email supporting that request, so we can try to expedite completion of the project. I'm hoping to get that back soon. The no more work will be happening out there this week with the holiday. DOT doesn't allow work starting from Tuesday at like noontime, yep, through the end of the week anyway. So they'll be back out next Monday. We found one issue pop up on one of the test pits with some of the drain line wasn't exactly where we thought it was, so we'll have to make some changes, but we can talk about that more at the next meeting once we know what we're gonna be doing. And the plan is to start actual water main installation the week of the 15th. So the next meeting, we'll be able to talk a little bit more about the work and how it's going. The guys have been able to get police details out for the test pit work, other than the first day when they had some flaggers. So that's been positive to have the details out there, and that seems to be going well. That's really the update on the water main project. And Matt Darsh has been out each day on site to witness those test pits, and they have been doing the temporary paving at the end of the day. So the end of the day, pavement's down, you know, these test pits are repaired, and they move on. And that's how they'll be doing the water main work once they get going with that too. At the end of the day, temporary pavement will be placed and the site will be clean.
Again, there's a temporary patch, not a bad patch from what I've been over.
No, they're not bad at all.
And so hopefully when they get the trenches started, that it'll have the same quality of temporary patch. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hold up. And if it's not, we'll get right on them to do the repairs and get out there as soon as possible. And certainly DOT will be, I mean, they're stopping by every day. Their inspector is on it with that, and he's not gonna let it slide if it's not up to par. The Water Management Act grant project, that is complete at this point. DEP approved the draft, and we submitted the final copy to them. I have some printed sets to drop off to you. Nothing changed from the draft report. We also submitted the final fiscal reporting that the grant program requires. So that should take care of that, and you should receive the reimbursement for the grant project within the next couple weeks. The only other thing I see here on the list is the discussion for the town meeting article for the well site. And we don't have to do that today. We can talk about that at the next meeting.
we need to come up with some solid funding, both for the engineering as well as, whatever is necessary to do the preliminary investigations, as well as develop the plans for the actual construction of the plant, the well itself.
Yeah. Okay,
And, there's more and more talk around town that they want to see that expedited as quick as possible, but we want to make sure that we cross all our Ts and dot all our Is, so that once we do it, we're doing it correctly. We're not doing it haphazardly or without a great deal of forethought for the long-term management of the water system.
okay, yes.
I'm gonna leave in about 2 minutes. I like that question about the leak detection, and are we gonna vote on something tonight?
It's up to you guys.
It looked, I mean, I looked over the three, and it seems to me, I mean, leak detection is leak detection, and we're gonna get 55 miles of leak detection.
110.
110 for 11,000?
I just don't want to overstep. Was Kristen all set? I can touch on that stuff.
Yep.
Are you done,
Well
Kristen?
said.
Yes, so I reached out to 4 companies. One company hasn't got back to me. I had a discussion on the phone, never sent anything back. All 3 proposals are for 110 miles of main, which is give or take the entire system, put in there. So that's what those 3 quotes are at. They can be broken down into per day, you can bump through certain areas per day, or this would be for 110 miles over a period of months.
That first one looked fine to me. The low bidder was significantly lower, and they're gonna do the same work, it seems like, right?
Yes, and there was one company, the low bidder seems to do more of a, if I want to say comprehensive, he's gonna go along and listen without sonic listening, everywhere. So obviously they'll start with correlation, and if they hear something, that whatever correlation isn't that effective with the majority of our pipes in the system as far as PVC and AC goes. Correlation works much better with ductile iron, cast iron, and things of that nature. But they'll end up doing more walking, and that's not typically what those companies do.
But that's also on their dime, so.
Yeah, I think that's reflected in their proposal.
Yeah.
That cost is more labor intensive to do a comprehensive walking along and actually listening, everywhere, and gates and valves and stuff to narrow things down. So, in talking to the low bidder, I had great conversations with all 3 companies, all 4 companies. They were all great conversations, great proposals they put together and stuff. And Kristen had Brett come along recommending, these companies. I talked to other water departments that have used these companies with great satisfaction and success. So
If the company that was the low bidder has good reports from people that did, I see no reason why we would pick anybody else.
sure, I think
Can we just, I don't know which company it is.
that's gonna be Rock. It's
New England,
New England Water Services, Water Distribution Services. I'm sorry, Randy Drew.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not that.
New England Water
Sorry.
Distribution Services. Wyndham, New Hampshire.
So that would be my vote.
And what was the total on that? Cause remember, Bob is at home, he doesn't have this in front of him.
Oh,
Sure.
the total price, Bob, is $11,825 is the low bidder from New England Water Distribution Services LLC, which is a Wyndham, New Hampshire company.
That looks good to you guys. I'm fine with that too.
I do think that's about it is kind of important that this is the route we're gonna go, that we take action. So we can initiate this to get on their agenda
It's
to
quickly,
get this ball rolling, otherwise it's gonna put it out another month.
as quick as we can. That's why I came today, and that's why I wanted
Very
to make sure that we got a vote on this, because I want to get this going.
That's the homework that I've done to present to you guys, so.
Okay,
So I need a motion.
I move that we
Approve the contract.
approve the contract to New England Water Distribution Services LLC for the sum of
$11,800.
$11,825.
Second.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Move second and so voted.
Very good.
So the fourth.
Thanks.
Okay.
Starting now.
Yeah, Kristen, does that take care of everything you've got?
Yes,
Chris?
All right, well, I'm happy to report that the transfer of the Kelleher property has finally been completed and recorded at the Registry of Deeds. So now the Kingston Water Department owns the real property known as the Kelleher property. So
Excellent.
that was a
Yay.
great thing to get done. So now we can proceed with the next phase of that project. We just had a discussion on leak detection. The water repairman, William Duggan, that transferred over from the highway department to work with us approximately, it was 8 months ago, decided to part company, take a job elsewhere, in the seeking higher rate of pay. His last day was supposed to be this Friday, July 5th. He was, I think, just ready to get out of here, and he parted company yesterday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So William Duggan no longer works with us. That was his decision.
So, in the process of replacing Mr. Duggan, we will need to go to HR and post it internally.
I spoke with HR. The job posting has gone up internally and externally at the same time. We cannot look at any applicants externally until the time period is elapsed for the in-house opportunities. It's posted as a pump operator requiring distribution and treatment licenses. So we'll see what the outcome on that is, and hopefully the next meeting might have something to report back that it's yes or no, and see if we get any outside applicants. But we'll go through that process and hopefully get a qualified candidate.
Bob, you got anything else? Bob?
Me? No.
No, okay. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So move.
Okay.
Moved second,
Addition.
so voted.
Yeah.